1960. That was the year that was. The start of great changes in the arts. The age of Aquarius. Let the sunshine in. Oxford University was a cradle of theatrical talents, prominent among which were two students, Annabel Leventon and Nigel Frith.
Really?
Annabel, how did you break into that coterie, and how did you end up to be known as the Queen of Oxford Theatre?
I think that was an accident. I can't account for what the Daily Express said, but you know, all the national papers used to give reviews for student performances. So if you were playing anything notable, all the press would come down and give you serious reviews, and the Daily Express would call you the Queen of the Oxford stage. That's basically how it happened. So for me, the 60s didn't really begin in 1960. I didn't go up till 1961. And I would love to ask Nigel when he thinks we first met.
Well,
because you might know.
Were you in St Anne's?
I was.
Yes. Well,
Some
you
of the
see,
time.
I think you didn't notice when we met, but I was somehow at a play reading that was in St Anne's, and you were reading one of the parts.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know they did play readings.
God knows how it happened, but
Do you remember the play?
No.
Do you remember the part?
No, but you were in it, and I must have been with someone. I said, she's good, you know, and I said, we must keep an eye on her, and I'll bring her to the Kemp and we can introduce her to everybody, you see.
I do remember the Kemp.
I spotted you as a talent, you see, and then I didn't.
Why didn't you tell me?
Well, I didn't get round to it at first, you see, and then I went to the Kemp. Bugger me, there you were, chatting away with all the grandees.
Yes, with Michael Rudman,
yes,
and David Orkin, and Doug Fisher,
yes,
and Joe Durden-Smith,
yes,
and Terry Jones, and Michael Palin, and
yes, you
all
see.
right, you missed a trick there, Nige. I could have done with an introduction. I don't know how I wormed my way in.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask
well, you see, but she was hanging out with all the new people, you see, who the old grandees, which was me after 1 year of it, you know, we thought, oh, it's all this kitchen sink riffraff, Mike Rubman, you see, but he ended up being the one who really gave you super parts, didn't he?
He absolutely did. He completely changed my life. Michael was an American. I don't think he wasn't a Rhodes Scholar or anything, but he wanted to be a theatre director, and he knew that before he came. He was kind of he was a grown-up when we were just kids fooling about.
Yes.
And he started a
so
drama
he was a graduate,
workshop.
wasn't
What?
he? He was a graduate. He wasn't.
Yeah, he was a graduate. And there was something called, I think you'd know what it's called, I think it's called Cuppers in your first term when you do acting. I didn't dare because I thought they were going to chuck me out. So I worked really, really, really hard until the end of the second term when we got our prelims, our first exams out of the way, because I thought I would never pass. So I stayed away from acting. But at the beginning of the second term, Michael started this drama workshop. I don't know how I got to hear about it, but I went along and got introduced after school drama, which was, you know, Miss McKinley, who taught English, telling you where to stand, at what point you put your hand out, you know, and drove me absolutely balmy at school. And I played all men anyway, so, you know, it's a bit frustrating at school. But came here and he taught us about Stanislavski. He taught us about Chekhov. You never joined those workshops, did you?
Of course I didn't.
Why not? Because you were too old.
I couldn't stand all that sort of thing, you see.
God, you'd have loved it. You would have got a chance to do a death scene every single time. That's really how I know you, at parties, doing Richard II, Richard III. I don't know if you did many others, but I got to see those quite a lot. But I got deeply involved with theatre.
But you see, I think you mentioned the 60s, the Gilded 60s or whatever, but you see, that was, to my mind, the big divide was that I was of the generation who came up and wore tweed jackets or corduroy jackets, you know, and flannel trousers and things, and then up came the Michael Rudmans of this world, and he was a method actor, he was wearing jeans, and they were into a totally different sort of theatre, which...
we were, that's absolutely right.
Yeah.
We were not interested in doing old-fashioned theatre.
And Graham Murray too.
Graham Murray too, absolutely. I have to say I never worked with him, but I did get him the job of directing Hang Down Your Head and Die.
Did you?
Yeah, because I was on the experimental theatre group committee. The term we were saying, we call ourselves experimental theatre, but we're not doing experimental theatre. I was like that, the doctor. I haven't really changed. Going, why aren't we doing something interesting? So we decided we would do total theatre, and that anybody who wished to be involved could be involved as designer. They just say what you want to do. I want to write, I want to sing, I want to direct, I want to what. And we chose, I think, 3 possible. Graham is no longer with us, so he can't challenge me on this, but though he has done earlier. We chose 3 themes, and we were going to do one theme, and everybody was going to be involved. And in the end, we chose capital punishment, and we chose Graham as director, and it turned into a show called Hang Down Your Head and Die, all written, designed, directed, performed by students. Michael Codron came up from London to see it. It transferred to the West End, as you know, and then it transferred to Broadway. And the amazing thing about that is, on Broadway, I didn't discover this for years, but the 2 guys who wrote the book for Hair, Jerome Ragney and Jim Rado, were doing next door to the theatre that Hang Down Your Head were in. They were doing a production of Hamlet, playing, small parts, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, and they were sitting in their dressing room going, well, fuck me, the people next door have got a show on Broadway that they wrote themselves, and they're not even drama students, and decided to write Hair.
Really?
So I think I am godmother to Hair.
By being godmother to Hang Down Your Head and Die?
Exactly, yeah.
Well, that is
not
staggering.
many people know that.
No, they don't.
But Jim and Jerry knew it, and Graham absolutely denied it when they were having their 50th reunion.
Well, hold on, which bit
No,
did he
the bit
deny?
that had anything to do with it, because David Wood, you probably remember, has remained a good friend, and he told me that they were having their 50th anniversary get-together. So I said, well, I'd love to come to that. Not only did I see it, but I was on the committee that started it. And Graham absolutely refused to let me show up. It's nothing to do with you. He was unbelievably rude, though dead now.
Well, probably why. People like that tend not to live long.
He burnt himself out, yeah.
He must have done, with resentment and fury that I thought I had, even as a friend, I knew everybody in the cast. It wouldn't have hurt to let me go, would it? But no, I was absolutely refused.
Very mean.
Well,
but there you have the difference, you see. There was Frith.
Yes.
No, I don't want to improvising. Oh, forget it. This is the way you do it. You learn the speech of Shakespeare and you deliver it, and you pump your leg up and down and go like this, which is the youth theatre style of acting, you see.
is that what you did beforehand, youth theatre?
I was, yes, just a bit. I mean, Giles...
Ian McCulloch, wasn't he youth theatre? Oh no.
No.
I think he was.
No, he wasn't quite, no. Giles was. Giles.
Was he?
Giles Block.
Okay.
Who has done one of these interviews.
I'm sure he has. I was thinking on my way down, who were the people I used to meet for lunch at the Lamb and Flag? And one of them was Sheridan Morley, one of them was you, and who was the other? Was another person. Who was it? Was it
Giles.
Giles? Good, because I thought it must be.
No, you were quite friendly with Giles, I think.
I loved Giles.
Really?
I'm quite friendly with a few people that you don't know about.
But you did a lot of Shakespeare, did you not?
And I did a lot of Shakespeare.
Yes, you did.
Yes, I did.
So there must have been quite a lot of this declaiming.
In fact,
No, he did the declaiming.
You-
I did the acting.
She did the
It's a
acting.
whole different ballgame. you know, he loved showing off, and I don't like showing off. I only feel safe if I'm playing a part on stage and trying to make it believable. I don't really like the hello, I'm here. I can't do all of that. But you are brilliant. Mind you, if we combined forces, now that could have been something to be reckoned with.
Well,
there we go. It's not too late.
I tried to get it together, but there we go.
Well, you left it a long, long time.
But what Shakespeare did you act that Giles was in too?
I didn't.
Oh.
Oh yes, I did. I beg your pardon. Yes, we did a production, not with Michael Rudman, with Adrian Brine of Othello.
Yes.
With Giles playing Iago.
Yes.
And Oliver Ford Davis playing Othello, blacking up for it. Me playing Desdemona.
Yes.
Graham Murray playing my father.
That was just his part, wasn't it?
Yeah. Michael. What was it? He changed his name.
Michael Emrys Jones.
No. Well, he was in it. Yes, but now I was thinking of the other Michael, who was the film star, the beautiful boy.
Oh, Michael York.
Michael York.
Michael York. He was
Michael Johnson.
Michael
I had
Johnson.
To change his name. Michael York was in it playing Cassio.
Yes.
And Emrys Jones was in it playing whoever fights Cassio. Can't remember now. I did.
Yeah.
I did.
No,
work
see,
with Giles.
and what Annabel said about the national reviews was certainly true of Othello, because it wasn't just a review of that production of Othello. They had a picture of Ollie and Giles on the front page of the Times.
Did they?
Yeah.
Gosh, I never noticed that. I was so short-sighted, and I never bought papers anyway, so I didn't know. Oh God, that would have been worth keeping. I see.
Yeah, and that was directed by
Adrian Brine, who was a professional director.
Yes, he was. Well,
and the difference between, I think Adrian was probably one of, don't wish to be rude, but you were talking about a whole different style of acting and theatre. Adrian was one of those directors, and I was used to Michael Rudman, who taught me so much by helping me through things as a 19-year-old I knew nothing about, but he really, really helped me. When it got to, I'd done with Michael, what had I done? I'd done A Month in the Country, and then we'd done the Brecht Good Woman of Szechuan, which was huge, and then the next term we did, with Adrian, we did Othello, and I thought that I'd be fine, but I didn't realise Adrian was not a teaching director. And though I knew what Desdemona felt, absolutely, I could not get my voice or my body to express how I felt. And it was incredibly painful, apart from the fact that a girl at St Anne's made my costume, which was hideous. That didn't help. But it was really hard to do, because I realised my inadequacies if I didn't have the right person guiding me through it. And it was very, very hard to do, and in the end that's what decided me. After Oxford I would have to go to drama school to learn some basics about how to conduct myself when I had a director who wasn't able to help me.
Yeah, when we were talking about doing this, I think either Bob or somebody, they said, well, why did she go to drama school after she'd been to Oxford? Yeah. Oxford got you into the theatre straight away.
It's a brilliant springboard.
Yes.
Going to drama school set me back 2 years.
Yes.
And you can't afford those 2 years. I didn't know this. When you're 22, you have to be in there early, because your shelf life is very, very short, especially if you're a woman. But I needed to do it, and it has allowed me to go on growing as an actor ever since, despite the fact that it did set me back in many ways.
So when did you do Hair? Well, because that was the lead in Hair, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
So when was that?
That was 1968. I left Oxford in '64.
That's only 4 or 5 years after you went down.
Yeah, well, yes, that's true, but it was. My career has been a weird one, because like all careers maybe, but I haven't ever settled for being typecast. I haven't wanted to be typecast. I want to do rock and roll, I want to do Shakespeare, I want to do comedy, I want to improvise. So it means nobody knows where to place me, basically. And you were not, in my day, when I left Oxford, indeed left drama school in '66, you were not allowed to act and sing at the same time. Are you an actor? Are you a singer? And that was it was a great divide. And I always said I'm both, but the National Theatre didn't know what to do with me, and so I went into rep and found it incredibly dull, drawing room comedies and
But
2 weeks to do a Shakespeare while you're doing another show in the evening. You're not, it's Noel Card's right. Speak the lines, don't bump into the furniture, that's about the best you can do. But when Hair came along,
yes,
it was different. Everything about it was different. It broke a million rules.
yeah. But
And
you
I'd
see,
seen them in America, and I'd actually joined the company that spawned Hair in New York.
did you?
Yeah. I went to the Edinburgh Festival with the Travers Theatre, and for the festival I was there for 5 months. But when the festival came up, we hardly had any time off. We were all doing about 6 shows a day, and in the evening show, learning the script for the nighttime show. Where it was fun, but it was pretty full on. And by chance, I got to see a company who were over from New York. They were the 3rd experimental theatre company from New York. First was the Living Theatre, which I never saw. I don't know if you did you? Extraordinary. The Open Theatre, which I saw later, absolutely extraordinary, riveting work. And then this, Café La Mama, doing a play in exactly what I was dying to do, in making it physical, making it emotional, making it so huge emotionally that you couldn't avoid it. And I fell in love with them and went up to them afterwards and said, "Where do you do this? I don't know, I have to." And they said, "Well, come and join us." And the guy who was directing that...
And that was in New York? Or
No, that was in Edinburgh in 1967.
Ah.
So I
And then the
saved
next
up.
year they did it.
Then I went to join them in the States, working for nothing, but I had to be there. I had to do that kind of work. Yeah, it was total theatre, the kind I had really wanted with Hang Down Your Head.
Yeah.
So just so happened that the guy directing the show that I'd seen was no longer at La Mama. He was directing a show on Broadway. So I was working with another group, and it was wonderful, wonderful work. Really hard and really challenging. And we had to... Café La Mama was about the size of this room, and every so often the lease would run out. They'd have to move somewhere else. And I helped them, I've been there a couple of months, I helped them move the chairs to the next venue, 200 yards down 2nd Avenue, And to thank me, Tom O'Horgan, who was the leader of the original La Mama troupe, who was doing this show on Broadway, gave me a ticket to go to a matinee. And I went. I'd never been to Broadway before, and I was gobsmacked.
And that was for Hair?
That was Hair.
Ah.
Because they broke the 4th wall, they came out and talked to us, they sat on my knee, they swung from ropes, they used hand mics, it was rock and roll and acting. It was phenomenal. And so I came away going, right, I'm going to have something to do with that show. I will usherette, I'll do box office, I'll do wardrobe, I'll do anything, but I'm going to be part of it. And that's what happened, because
Golly.
I met the composer. I auditioned.
So were you playing the lead in Hair when Princess Anne came and saw it?
Yeah, she came twice. Zsa Gabor.
And she danced on stage?
Yes. Everybody. It was the only, I think there were 19
and you
productions
took all your clothes off?
around the world. Everybody did. Except Paul Nicholas, who was singing a song at the time. He couldn't. It's quite hard to hold a microphone and strip off. But the rest of us did, yes. And we were very proud to do so.
Now look, we're going to have to get into explaining why we've got all this stuff right here.
Can I just interrupt there? Because although you are very much of the modernist trend...
Oh, I was, darling. I'm not anymore. I can't stand theatre now.
No, but you kindly lent yourselves to this, what Nigel set up as the 55 Club.
Yes.
Which was a slightly reactionary group. And...
when was this? I didn't know I'd been co-opted as a member.
Well, it's in the record, actually.
Yeah.
Well, what was it? Was this the party?
Yes.
What was it? 55 years of what?
No. The 55
No.
Club was this club at number 55 Holywell, which was...
Did I ever go there?
Yeah. You did, you sang.
Oh, I see. Okay. Fine.
That's why I got in contact with you
Oh, I see.
to organise the reunion of the 55 Club, you see. But the irony is that the 55
Stab me
Club...
vitals, what you don't remember.
Well, the 55 Club was formed in order to counter all the kitchen sink stuff, you see.
So why on earth did you invite me?
Well,
Because he thought I was a queen.
You were one of
That's
the...
what we're asking.
You were one of the... You were
And there
one
is
of the,
no excuse for it.
You were one
I was
of the
one
gang.
I was one of the Nouvelle Vague. You shouldn't have invited me.
Well, we did, and
Well, I'm glad you did.
did sing, and I think you must have been in one of our. We put on little plays.
Did we?
Yeah.
Well, we didn't. I do admit to singing at the odd event.
Yeah, well, there you are. You see, so and it was.
Bet you don't remember what I sang.
So it sounds to me as though he tricked you into this.
No, listen,
I
I
remember
would go anywhere. If I was
No,
invited, I'd
no.
go anywhere.
The thing about
I
this-
was thrilled
the
to be
thing about the
included
55
socially,
Club
having
was-
been a completely outcast
You
and
see,
having no social life at all. Oxford opened the doors to everything.
Yeah,
I
and
don't
the-
think I turned down
and
an invitation.
The
Yes.
55 Club had
I
this,
didn't know
had
it was a
this rule.
55 Club.
It was in the evening, and men had to wear dinner jackets, and the ladies wore evening dress. And because of that, all the girls wanted to come, so it was very popular. And it was so popular, it ran after we had all left. Bob Scott, remember Bob Scott?
I do remember Bob Scott.
Did you ever come to the 55 Club in his rooms in Merton?
No idea.
Because it went there.
Probably not.
And then it moved to Christchurch, and
No.
I've gone down. And,
No, none of that. No.
but it was.
I don't think I had an evening dress, so I undoubtedly would not have worn one.
Well, you must have worn something quite fancy.
I did my best, but you know,
Yes.
grammar school girl,
If
you don't know how to dress.
If you were singing, but
Yes,
you see,
that's it.
That was the thing about the lot you were saying you didn't like, who are all my friends. Grammar school kids, when they got to Oxford, felt very out of place then. So we gravitated towards each other and clutched very tight as we saw people going past with their pipes and wearing the stock and all of that. We thought, fuck that, and congregated in places where we could not expose our accents or our bad clothes. You know, Terry Jones and I, we really clung together for comfort in English classes because we were surrounded by these poshes.
Terry Jones was in the 55 Club.
Well, he was like me, he would do anything.
You see, one of these
He
is...
could go anywhere.
Yes.
He carried on doing that. And so did I. I mean, why am I here?
That was,
Oh,
that was
bless him.
Terry Jones. And
Oh, he's at the Hexagon, yes?
he's at the Hexagon.
No, it was when he'd moved and he was with Anna. Yeah,
Yes, that was when he moved.
yes. Bless him. Oh, dear.
Can I
Now I'm going to cry because I miss him so much.
Do you?
And yeah, Michael Palin and I used to go and
Well,
visit
here,
him
look,
together.
here's Michael Palin. He was part of it because that's his...
Julia Street, number 4, yes, indeed.
Talking of the kitchen sink, I'd like to refer to something which I...
I didn't do kitchen sink, by the way.
No, you didn't.
I would gladly have done, but I didn't. Didn't come my way.
That's what I'm
Because
coming
I called
to.
Annabel, you know, that sounds too
Yes.
middle class.
But on the other hand,
Big mistake.
had my
Stop laughing,
observation is, having, as it were, missed 2 years before going into the profession, you could have been a shoo-in for Billy Nye. Because one of your publicity shots is a dead ringer for Julie Christie.
Darling, don't tell me. I know it. When my brother Patrick went to see the film, he rang me up, he said, that was you, wasn't it? That was you going down the King's Road.
Exactly, swinging
No,
the
it wasn't.
handbag.
Yes, that one, wearing a trouser suit. And I remember I was in my first year at drama school, and I was on the platform at Earls Court on my way home, and I'd picked up an Evening Standard, and I, standing on the platform, looked at it and went, oh, there was a picture on the front page of Dirk Bogarde and me. And I looked at it and I went, what? And I realised it was a good photo of me and a rather bad photo of Julie Christie. And I thought, well, that's my career buggered for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
But going to drama school wouldn't have changed that, or not going to
It
drama
was
school.
the timing, wasn't
I wouldn't
it?
have known anybody. I wouldn't have been able to get into the business in any way.
Right.
And, you know, Julie Christie was really beautiful, and she had this beautiful little figure, and I was all over the shop. You know, I didn't know who I was. So
But on the
I
other
couldn't have
hand-
handled it if they'd given it to me.
But later
was it?
on, wasn't there a possibility you would have been in the musical Billy
I was offered it, and
Yeah.
I turned it down.
on stage? Yeah.
Why did you turn it down?
I turned it down for a few reasons. One was that I was part of a job lot organised by my agent to get all their clients in there. Two, they never gave me a script, and you don't do a show that you're going to commit yourself to for a year without seeing a script. I auditioned about 15 times to play opposite Michael Crawford. Neither of us were dancers, and the choreographer was absolutely determined there would be a Fred Astaire Ginger Rogers number. So it's tricky with two actors. So Michael and I did quite a bit of rehearsing to get this number together, and we did our best, giggling quite a lot, I'm afraid. And it went on for about 8 weeks, this auditioning.
My God.
Yeah, and eventually I'd formed my rock group, and we were due to have our first single come out, and the show, Billy's show, was going to preview in Manchester for 6 weeks, and I wouldn't have been here to promote the thing. So I said, I'm not going to take a show if I haven't read the script. I'm not doing it. And I don't want to be away for 8 weeks.
Well, you couldn't
either.
have formed Rock, Bottom or Follies.
I had formed it. We already had our first single coming out.
Yeah.
I'd been going for about
So that's,
nearly a year.
that meant you couldn't be in it, did it?
Well, it meant I would have had to give up promoting the single. It wasn't impossible, but when they sent me a script on a Friday night, when I said, I'm not doing it, and I'm supposed to be in there on Monday, and they said, yes, Mary, they don't do it, it'll be fine, work it out when you're there. You can't do that.
No.
You get emotionally...
But it was
you
done.
get emotionally
Did
involved.
Michael Crawford do it then?
Oh yeah, Michael Crawford did it.
Oh.
And I read the script and I thought, this is nothing, this is awful. And I don't want to work with people who don't want me to read a script. So I turned it down, and Diana Quick got it.
And
Did
the play was done in Oxford because
No, well,
Janet Watts.
No,
played
this is
Liz.
the musical
No,
version.
I know,
of it,
I
yeah.
know.
Janet
But the
Watts.
play, the straight play, was done in Oxford
Ah.
with Janet Watts.
Janet
late
would have
Janet
been
Watts.
sweet doing it. She'd have been lovely.
Now listen, did I act with Janet Watts? She died just recently,
She
didn't
did die just recently.
Yeah.
And I don't remember ever seeing you and Janet on a stage, but I don't think I've ever seen you on a stage.
Well, I think I played De Flores when
Oh.
she was the
Beatrice.
Beatrice in
That might have been after
the
my
White
time.
Devil.
Might have been not the White Devil. No,
The Changeling.
The Changeling.
The Changeling.
Because I played the Changeling too. Funny enough, at drama school.
No, I've got photos of this
Well, I
because
think it's after I left.
no, it couldn't have been.
Why not?
Well, because
Janet was not the same. Janet was a year below me, wasn't she? She was 62 to 65.
it was put on by St John's somehow, maybe St John's and St Cat's, which is why I was in it.
Maybe I just missed it because I was doing something else.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to bring it up to date.
Yeah. Yes.
Because
Really?
time is running out.
Yeah, time's running out.
And
I thought it was
it's-
all about Oxford.
yes, but it's what we're all doing now, and so forth. Nigel has this new old play, which is now available for public consumption.
Is this the Marilyn Monroe show?
This is a
Yeah.
Miss Monroe.
Well, sadly, he didn't offer it to me
I
in
know,
time.
I
did he?
know.
I
This
know,
is a
but
great sadness.
we'd like
But would
you
you
to-
like to direct it?
Would you like you to direct it?
If I'll read it,
Oh,
and I'd love to direct it
excellent.
if I think I could. Yes,
Excellent.
I bet.
I'm
So
sure
if you're available, we're available.
You're going to
and the
to play
play's
Marilyn?
available.
I'm sorry, we can't have that.
No, I've already read in for one of the minor roles. But
he was George
Yes.
Bundy.
yes. But seriously, we will send you a copy
By
of
all
the
means
script.
do.
No,
I'm always on the
can I
lookout.
give her one and I'll
I beg
pay
your
for another
pardon.
one?
Okay, fine. Yes, yeah.
Really, Nigel?
I've always wanted to give you one.
Anyway,
Well, give it to me now then.
this is a sublime ending to the conversation
Oh
because
dear, yes, it brings us
it's,
down, doesn't it? Where we belong.
It offers a possibility of getting together at last. And
But it's so kind of you.
Well, we've been...
You know,
we've been-
Adrian Benjamin at this party that you've got photos of,
Yeah.
he was saying, you know, I think it would be very, very good for Nigel if you did get married. And I go and say, yeah, but what about me, Adrian? Have you no thought for me? And he went, no, I don't know, it'd be good for Nigel.
Yes, well, on that note, we must
Not
close.
too late, of course.
Thank you, Annabel. Thank you, Nigel.
A pleasure.